Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Margaret Being Margaret. Makeup is on. Sorry. It's Friday morning. I did my hair with curling iron, but not hot at all, and just a little bit. Didn't put any setting lotion or anything. And I just dropped my rollers on the floor. I don't really care if there's any curl. How are you all? Figured this would be a good time to sit and talk to you. I have nothing going on for a little while. It's been a very good week for me. Super hot. I think most of us in the country, in the States, have had a very hot week. I know down under you've got your winter coming. That sounds good when it's over 100 degrees here and so humid. It was ridiculous. So it was mostly indoor stuff. I wanted to share with you a story from picking Nikki up at the airport the other day. I don't know how I forgot this. But, I had been sick. I'm still just getting over it. But Michael had asked me to pick them up. So I went out, and it's just to Providence. So it wasn't a huge deal. Need the little teasing right there. Got to the airport, parked in short-term parking, went in to get Nikki and Squish. Of course, when I finally saw them, first thing I did was take Squish out of the stroller so she could run around while Nikki got the luggage. But went in short-term parking and had gotten a ticket. Right? Everybody gets a ticket. It's not a big deal. But I handed it to Nikki when we left because truly, I cannot do electronic devices. I can't do them. They won't work for me. And it's a well-known fact. When I had the salon, the girls wouldn't even let me take the money to the bank next door because I will screw something up, not on purpose. So anyway, I gave Nick the ticket I had gotten. Gate goes up, you take the ticket, gate goes up. How's that? I'm done. That's all I wanted to do. You'll have to tell me how the back looks, but the little bit I can see from my three-way mirror, it looks okay. I don't have any lipstick on yet, but I will. Stop playing with it, Margaret. So anyway, I gave her the ticket and said, here, you might want to go to the kiosk and get rid of it because it's not going to work. So she goes to the kiosk, puts a ticket in. It says, this ticket is void. I said, Nikki, honestly, I did nothing but push the button for the ticket. Nothing else. So she said, we'll just go out. Now they're tired. They've just come in from a flight. Squish wants nothing to do with being in the car, so this is already not going to be fun from my standpoint. Put my laundry away while I'm telling you the story. So Nikki says, let's just go out and we'll put it in the machine. Must be out there. We get to the short-term parking line, get up to the kiosk, put the ticket in so the gate can go up. No, won't work. The ticket is void. Press the help button. Nope, doesn't do a damn thing. Nikki gets out of the car. Now remember, she's not feeling real generous right now because she's tired and hot. Goes over to the shack. There's nobody in it. There's you call the phone thing. No, it doesn't do a thing. So we go back and we're trying the ticket. Somebody pulls up next to us. I figure, okay, it must just be theirs. So I'm going to get out and get in their line. So I back up with Nikki going, careful, careful, careful. Get behind another car. He gets out and motions us away. He goes, it's not working. And Nikki said, none of them are working. So now there's like 2, 4, 5, 6, 7 cars, and I'm getting antsy. It's been a couple minutes that we're waiting to see if anybody will come. There's nobody there. So I start doing a 27,000 point turn. I'm going to go out the one way. I've got an unhappy child and an exhausted woman who just came off a plane, which most likely we all have the same kind of thing. So I'm going, And Nikki's going, you're going to hit this, you're going to hit that, you're going to hit this, you're going to hit that. And she's exasperated. And I'm just going away. All of a sudden, the car on the side, the gate goes up and they leave. And Nikki's going, oh my God, it's working. Now I've got to try to do a 27,000 point turn to turn back with all the cars coming and going. Oh, what a fiasco. So I'm turning. The car before us, the gate goes up and Nikki's going like, go, go, go. But I haven't finished my turn. Finish my turn, the gate comes down. And I press the help button very gently. Finally, the gate opens and we take off. Go shooting through it. And Nikki says, I've got my GPS on. And I don't know if you know the comic Nate Bargatze. He's who I had on my GPS as a voice. He's not there anymore. It gets a little tiring, but I think it's hysterical. So, you know, he says, take a left turn. Left turns are kind of hard, and he talks a lot on this GPS. So Nikki's going, who is this? Because she's not amused. And he says, you know, you're doing fine. You're going to take a right. Right hands are very easy. And I'm giggling, listening to him, because now I have to get on Route 95, which I know is right here. And Nikki says, you know where you're going? And I said, of course I do, as I go right past it. Yeah, and you can hear the smoke coming out of Nikki's ears. Oh, my God. And I just had that giggle of, oh, I can't believe I just did that. And she said, you might as well go 295 here. So we took the scenic route home. We got home. I said to Michael, I took your family on the scenic route. I'm sorry. How? I don't know. I don't know how I took the wrong turn, but I thought it was whatever. So that was late last week. We had Squish's birthday party on Sunday. Very nice. Karen, Bernie, Shirley came along with all Nikki's family. Karen had a cold, which would have been my fault because I gave her this cold. She really, really thinks it's from the horrible air conditioning at that hotel that it's this bad. I feel fine. This is just still all nasally. Karen is sicker than she's been in years. She is, you know, I have bronchiectasis. So when I get a bad cold and cough, I cough to the point of just about passing out. I lose my breath, and it's really scary. But Karen also has asthma, and it happens to her once in a great while. Well, it happened twice with this cough, where you cough to the point where you can't get an inhalation. And she called me yesterday, was thinking of calling the ambulance. So Michael had come home, and I relinquished my Squish back to him instead of taking her out for lunch, and went and took Karen to the doctor's. And she has all the typical meds. And they told her she doesn't feel better if she doesn't feel 30% better by Monday, to call them. Poor thing, if she doesn't feel 30% better, she's going to jump off a bridge. I feel so badly for her. She's really miserable. And for the first time, I think, really scared herself with the not being able to catch your breath. You know, they had always told me that if I pass out, I won't die because the paralysis from the cough will go away. So it's not comforting at all, but that's what I told her too. So she's been out of commission. I've been checking on her every day. On Monday, I went to see my pulmonologist. My Trilogy, my steroid spray, is running out. And when I called them, it had been 2 years since I'd been to the pulmonologist, so they refused to refill it. I understood. So anyway, I went to see my pulmonologist. They did a couple of tests, which I didn't anticipate they were going to do, but it had been quite a while. I had my cold, so I knew I would be worse than I had been, but I made sure I told him that so that they would take that into consideration. Whoa, I just spilled this sugar all over the place. I'm glad you didn't see that. So the tests showed that my bronchiectasis was a tiny bit worse, But the doctor agreed with me that with having a cold, those tests really weren't going to be much use, and thought I'm probably the same or even a little better. So he agreed to take the steroids down a step to try it, which is wonderful because those are $400 a month. But you know, I have Tufts for Medicare. Obviously, Tufts was a really bad idea. Almost nobody around here takes it. There's a very small pool to choose from, and I didn't have my primary. Remember, I've been trying to get a primary forever. Well, there's a 4 to 6 month wait so far from one place that I found taking new patients. And I mean, within a 25-mile radius, I have checked everywhere. I have one more place to check. I can't find a flipping doctor. And my pulmonologist said that if I continue to do well, he doesn't need to see me and I can just get this inhaler, because that's what he put me on, just a rescue inhaler to see if I can do that, which I really think I can, that I could do that through a primary. So I just have to find a primary, which seems to be impossible to do. And the only reason I went with Tufts is because they have, one of a couple, that have the over-the-counter benefit for, you know, every quarter, I think it's $140. And I use a lot of over-the-counter things. I don't do regular meds, you know, cough syrup and that kind of stuff. So I'm still on the hunt for that. But that was Monday. That went well. Tuesday, I went out to lunch with a couple of friends. I had told you I was going to, and that was very nice. They came to see the house. One of them has seen him, but the other one had not. And I got the nicest compliment from one of the girls, the girl who hadn't seen this place since before we did the addition. And she sat down and said, "I'm very comfortable here." It's like, oh, that's exactly what I was going for. So that was a really nice visit. We visited here a little while. I got to show off the things that I had built, which always makes me very proud, probably way too proud. And then we went out for lunch. So Tuesday was a very good day. Wednesday was a hang-around day. It's, with it being so hot, I think mid-afternoon I opened the windows because I can only take, you know, so much of the air conditioning. But it was 100 degrees outside and unbelievably sweltering, that oppressive air where you can't really breathe. So I left the windows open for a couple of hours, but I was sitting on the couch and another friend reached out. She's the grandmother of the twins that moved away. Her name is Judy. I'm going to have to call her by name because I've got too many things going on. And she asked if she could come over, which I was thrilled about for two reasons. One, I'm thrilled to see her, and I wanted to hear about the trip overseas when they moved away because they went with the kids. I wanted to hear how she's doing without having care of her 3-year-old twins. I have anxiety for her. She got to see Squish for a little while, so that was really nice. But the other reason, I was so happy that she came over. She brought me a present. This is so good. Look at. Remember I told you I haven't had any chow mein because the machine broke that makes the noodles, and they're only made in Fall River, Massachusetts. I think I said a week or two ago the machine is fixed, but I hadn't found him yet. Judy and her husband went into Fall River. They had sent me a message a week or so ago and said they got me a couple boxes. And then when she texted me Wednesday night, she said she wanted to bring over a couple boxes. When she got here, she said, these were just packaged today. And I kind of looked puzzled. She went, yeah, we ate the other ones. So these were just packaged. I have 2 boxes. Yay! And thank you, Miss Judy. I was so happy. So she stayed for an hour or two, probably just an hour or so, Wednesday night, got to see Squish, and we just got to chat. They had a great time. Her and her husband are embracing the new chapter. Whew, that's hard. Her outlook is to try to do something to be helpful to somebody else every single day. I find it very difficult to think about Squish being gone for an hour. I love her outlook, and we will continue to stay in touch. In fact, I think in the next week I want to get over to their house because they have a bunch of the kids' toys that by the time the twins come back to the States, they'll have outgrown them, that she's going to give to Squish, so I want to go over and see what I want to steal from her. Thursday, I was going to have Squish. Nikki had an appointment, then take her out to lunch on Thursday instead of today. Michael came home early, unexpectedly, very early, and I had been talking to Karen, and she was really feeling unsure of herself. So I ended up changing my plans, and Thursday's the day that I went to Karen to the doctor's. I haven't checked on her yet today. In a little while, I'll call and see how she's doing. Today is Friday. I am going out to lunch. I know, look at me. What a week I'm having. But I'm going out to lunch with a woman from the salon. She was a guest there, somebody I really, really have enjoyed over the years. And we're finally going to get together after, what, a year and a half? Almost 2 years. The salon was sold in September. So we're going to have lunch. I'm telling you, I have a life. And tomorrow, my sister Bernie and I are going to get together and take a nice long walk and catch up because I haven't seen her for a little while. So I'm doing a good job of keeping my plate pretty full. Next week, I'll come up with a bunch of other stuff. I do want to get to the Council on Aging and do some exercise so that I don't turn into the Goodyear blimp. You know what I did? Those of you who are like me will understand this. Those of you who are not will think I've lost my mind. But it's hot. I don't want food. I've got a cold. In fact, I made potato salad, can't taste it, so I gave it to Nikki. She asked me if I wanted a piece of Squish's leftover birthday cake, and I said no because I can't taste it. But I needed cold. Now, what's cold and good when it's hot out? Ice cream. I didn't want a regular half gallon of ice cream, which I could have had and eaten. I got in the car in 100-degree heat with a cold and a cough, went to the grocery store so that I could buy myself a great big ice cream cake. $24. Ask me how long it took me to eat the whole cake. 2 days. That's all I've eaten. Now, I can't really taste it, but it still tastes so good. And it was what I needed. I know that's enough, right? But I would do it again in a heartbeat. It would just hit the spot. And I must have needed it badly to get in the car and go get it. But now I have to do grocery shopping because I haven't eaten any food or gotten any food for a week. I think that catches you up on what I've been doing all week. Now, what amongst that has resonated with you? The trying to keep busy? The not knowing what to do with yourself because it's so hot? I mean, it's impossible to get moving when it's that hot. At least I think so. You know, I went outside and watered my one plant and my one tomato plant and was exhausted. I find that I just want to sleep. And you know what? I can even sleep on my little love seats. Just curl up and not having a problem. And the food thing. I know a lot of us talk about how, you know, when it's hot out, we're not hungry. And a lot of you want to just eat light. I had a couple of salads this week, but I'm telling you, the only thing that sounded at all like something I wanted to put in my gullet was ice cream cake. Do you do that? I may take you along on the walk with Bernie tomorrow. If not, I'll check in over the weekend because I know this was a pretty quick check-in video and I do want to find out what's going on in all of your lives and come up with a plan for a little more traveling, I think, before the summer's over. Isn't it funny? I'm saying the summer's over and it's just started. So I hope you're all taking care. Hope you're all staying busy if that's what you want to do. And I will talk to you later. Have a good day.